Good news. Sharks erase a 3-0 deficit to tie the game up. Bad news. They don't know how to win in a shootout. All right, we'll break down this 1-1-2 road trip finale against Erik Karlsson and the Pittsburgh Penguins right now on Teal Town After Dark. We might talk some Kuhre too. Good evening, everyone. It is November 16th, 2024. The San Jose Sharks lose to the Pittsburgh Penguins 4-3 in the shootout. Welcome to Teal Town After Dark, your live interactive Sharks post game. We do this after every single game, home and away. If you want to be part of the show, here's how you do it. Chat with us and fellow hockey fans all over the world and in Sharks territory on the YouTube page or the app. And of course, you can follow us on all the socials, including Blue Sky. Yes, we are on Blue Sky, along with that other bird app that used to be called Twitter. Instagram, Threads, you name it, you love it. Find everything at tealtownusa.com. And, of course, if you want to support the pod, you can hit us up at Venmo at tealtownusa, or you can hit us up live right now on the Super Chat. And if you're watching us on the replay, leave a comment below and tell us what you thought of tonight's game. What we thought of tonight's game, well, I'm going to ask that to Mr. Ian Reid. What's up, bud?
Nothing.
All right. And good night, everyone.
Good night. No, sorry. I have the Barracuda game on my other monitor, and let me just say it's not good.
I feel for you tomorrow, my friend.
Nah. Devin Cooley's actually the franchise goalie.
Oh, no. Oh, no. And the Wranglers just scored again to make it 3-1. Holy crap. Okay. How did that? Okay. We'll get to that in a sec. First off, Ian, how are you?
Great.
Good to see you there, bud. Ricky, we're going to save that for a sec. We're going to get to that in a moment. But Sharks, come off a loss to the Rangers, 1-goal loss in New York, and then they come in and I don't want to say it was a great start, but it wasn't a great start.
Yeah, it was brutal. The Sharks came into this game, and I thought like this Pittsburgh team. Let's talk with the Penguins for a second. The Penguins are having a really shit go of it. They have basically, coming into this game, they had basically a nearly identical record to the Sharks. I think they played one more game than the Sharks, which they obviously still have because they both played each other tonight.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, this is a team that hasn't been good. This is a team that got absolutely destroyed by the Columbus Blue Jackets yesterday.
Yep, 6-2. They lost
right?
to the Neon
I
Buggers.
mean, like, this is a team that's on the second back-to-backs. They just lost a brutal game to a Columbus team that's also not very good. Like the derby of the bad teams. Like you've seen, the Penguins played 2 of them in the last 2 games, and they were awful. I watched the Columbus game yesterday, and just because I wanted to kind of get an idea of, like, I know the Penguins have had a shit go of it, but I kind of wanted to see what kind of to expect today. And and this is a team that I think they're in a tough spot, because I think it's a team where we kind of talked about this on the last show. This is a team where they've got guys that they're trying to do right by in Evgeny Malkin and Sidney Crosby and Chris Letang. And they tried to give it basically one more go. And then they made the greatest error in all of hockey GMdom, and they said, you know what would just put us over the edge?
What?
Erik Karlsson.
Oh. And
then proceeded to be one of the worst teams in hockey. So, which I feel bad for Erik Karlsson, because we kind of, like, we knew this was going to go one of two ways when he went there, right? Like, it was going to be like, this is either going to be like their last run, or it's going to be him going from a team that he joined at the very end of their window to another team at the very end of their window. And, here they are.
And Molasses saying, you feel bad for EK65?
I like Erik. I don't know, man. There's plenty of YouTube of me. Oh, Jesus Christ. There's plenty of there's plenty of YouTube of me singing. Like, I think Erik Karlsson's great. I think he's again, I think a lot of people are gonna, try and be funny and be like, oh, look at Erik Karlsson's reason to happen here. No, I mean, if you look at the Penguins team, they're one of the oldest teams in the league. And there's a lot of money up front on a lot of older guys and not a whole lot of depth. So, does that remind you of a team from 2020? It does. It reminds me of a team of 2020. So you know what I mean? I like Erik Karlsson. I think he's a great fucking player. I don't think this is all on him that the Penguins have fallen apart. I mean, Tristan Jarry got sent home to get his head straight, came back in against Columbus yesterday and allowed 2 goals on 3 shots, right? There's a lot going on this Penguins team. So you could, I mean, if you want, you look at you do you. But I think there's more wrong here than, oh, well, Erik Karlsson can't play defense, so therefore this is the worst team in hockey. But whatever.
Well, I mean, worst team in hockey. Well, a minute 1 in, they showed it. Brian Rust scores to make it 1-0. I mean, and here we thought, oh, Vlasic out, defense is going to be better. Cody Ceci instantly becomes the best defenseman on the team.
Yeah, that pair has been like that. So that Thrun and Ceci, I think, are the pair there, and they've replaced. They're the new Ferraro-Ruda line. I don't know, man. This defense core isn't good, right? That's the one thing I think that we got to keep in mind here is that this is not a good D-core at all.
Mm-mm.
And so there's always going to be a bad pair because they don't have enough good defensemen to make a good 6. There's not 6 good defensemen on this team. There's maybe 3 decent defensemen and 3 really bad ones, depending on who's in the lineup. It's not going to be good. No matter what they do, there's going to be bad defense on this team. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I was just 101 in. What's going on here, guys? Really? And then you had it go 2-0 on the Malkin goal, but that was called back on offsides. Nick Gialdini, shout out to you, my friend. You've been on a good run lately with getting those offsides challenged and getting those goals called back. So kudos to that. Then of course Pittsburgh would make it 2-0 on Jesse Puljujarvi's second of the season from O'Connor and Pickering. Vanacek was a little bit out of position, left a wide open net for Puljujarvi.
Vanacek's always I find Vanacek for a goalie who relies a lot on positioning. I find he's always and it could be, and this could be an issue of, sometimes the angle of the camera kind of gives you gives you that gives you a little bit of illusion of but he always looks like he's just slightly off his angle for me. And again, this could be just a camera optical illusion, because obviously you're not looking because of I don't know how to explain it. The way the camera is on him, right? I think it could be an optical illusion on a camera optical illusion. I don't know how to better describe that, but he always looks slightly off his angle to me. And I don't, for a goalie who's supposed to rely more on positioning than reflex, it's weird.
Yeah. And it's tough to see. Just to see that wide open, oh my gosh, Puljujarvi misses that. It'd be perfect signing for the Sharks because that's hard luck. But he didn't. He made it 2-0 about 6.5 minutes in. Sharks would get a power play near the end of the period. They didn't do dilly poo there. And then the second period went on, and
Oh wait, no. Henry Thrun said like, "This is enough. You're really bad," and he killed Vanacek.
oh, okay. So
That's what happened. That's what I've decided. That's what happened. Henry Thrun saw that goal and he decided that he had seen enough, and he ended Vanacek's night.
and he went
Aggregate
off.
that, bitches.
Vanacek would not return to the game. He was originally listed as questionable. He was not on the bench for the rest of the night. So who knows if he had pulled something, trying to shift back and forth. We'll see. We'll hopefully get some answers from Warsaw hopefully soon here. Second period would start with Mackenzie Blackwood in net. We'll remind you right now that Yaroslav Askarov is currently playing for the Barracuda right now. Don't look at the score. You don't want to. But of course,
just let the future goal. Just let the franchise goalie walk without a contract. Sad.
You'll hear more about Devin Cooley tomorrow on the Pucknologist, 7 p.m. right here on this YouTube channel. Second period, Penguins will make it 3-0. I'm sorry. I don't think I remember seeing Sidney Crosby taking so many slappers from the point in a game. He took one. Blackwood stopped it. Puck came back to him from Beauvillier, then Carlson, and then Crosby would tee it up and scores again. That's goal 599 for Pierre Maguire's Sidney Crosby. Apparently he talked to Sidney Crosby's dishwasher in the kindergarten and said that he was the greatest player of all time.
I mean, he's one of them. The Penguins did a really good job of kind of drawing people, like the way that the reason that Crosby scores that goal is because the Penguins on their power play did a really good job of drawing players out of position, and it just and the fact that Sidney Crosby basically shot through a pretty wicked screen too. Like, I don't think Mackenzie Blackwood saw that puck until it was in the net. But I thought that the Penguins did a really good job of drawing players, especially Klim Kostin. I think if you go back and watch, I think it was Klim Kostin that got caught chasing a little bit, and they did a good job pulling him out of position a couple of times, which allowed the Penguins to get some decent shots through.
Yep. Then mistake. Plus traffic doesn't help things at all. So that makes
I don't. Like I said, I don't think Mackenzie Blackwood saw that puck until it was in the net.
Yeah. Then the Sharks would get a break. Ponomarev would get a puck over glass call. Little pass midway through the second period, and the Sharks would capitalize on the power play. Seems like we haven't said that a whole lot in the last couple of weeks, but Tyler Toffoli, holy moly, gets a nice pass from Will Smith, feeds it over to Toffoli. He gets it home, and the Sharks are on the board. Toffoli, good to see, got moved to the third line for tonight's game as they try to get Will Smith going on the first line with Barclay Goodrow. But Toffoli on the board with his 7th. Ian, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, again, right? Like, I thought it was interesting because, like, this is a team where you're like, okay, we talked about this last show too, about how, like, obviously, like, I understand not wanting to split the Lund line up, but at the same time, like, that comes at a cost, right? So I'm like, oh, so they're going to actually put Celebrini and Smith together, because I think they were a little bit afraid of that. And I think it actually worked out fine this game. It actually went better than I thought it would. But, so you're excited. You're like, oh, cool. We're going to actually have like a real top 6. We're going to put, Smith with Celebrini with Smith and Toffoli and leave the Lund line together. But no, we can't have nice things in San Jose.
Never.
So we have to continue with top 6 Barca Goodrow. Now, the plus side to that, though, is that it's going to allow a guy like Tyler Toffoli to get a lot more special teams time, which is where he, made his money tonight. So it worked out from that respect, but I just wish that if we're gonna do this, then let's do it properly. But I don't know. What do I know?
Well, I think you know a lot. They're just in denial.
I'm a guy on YouTube. I don't know anything.
So Toffoli would make it 3-1. Sharks would get in, and the Penguins would trade off penalties near the end of the period, and we move on to the third, where the Sharks started getting going again. Mikael Granlund, 656. He gets his 8th of the season. I mean, he's kind of been the lifesaver, spark plug, and I wonder how much he's going to command in free agency, especially if Elliot Friedman's reporting that the cap is going to go up maybe upwards to almost 7 million next year.
Yeah, some teams this summer are going to do some really dumb shit if that happens.
No kidding. But then about 5 minutes later, Toffoli again from Delandry and Wallman. Toffoli kind of just walked right in, and Delandry, just handed to him. 3 Penguins just like, huh? What happened? Game tied.
Yeah, I mean, you could see it after the Sharks' second goal. Like you can see how bad. Like when things are going bad for a team that's supposed to be. I don't want to say the Penguins are supposed to be good, but they're probably should be better than this. And I think that when you watch them play, especially after that second goal, like they started playing, they did the worst thing that you could possibly do as a team in the NHL, and that is instead of playing to win, you start playing to not lose. And that's what the Penguins did. They were playing to not lose. And that is where you always get into trouble, right? So,
and sure enough, that's what happens. And then Pittsburgh takes a penalty, like not even a minute later. And oh man, you felt like if they get that one there, then, not that, Sullivan's on the hot seat already, but that might have been scorching if the Sharks had scored a power play goal there and basically closed it out. Because, I mean, let's talk about Mackenzie Blackwood. Comes in relief and did a phenomenal job. I know Ricky mentioned in the chat, why isn't he being talked about for Team Canada?
He should be. No, I 100% agree with that. I think he should 100% be in the conversation. This is a guy who again, like it's hard if you're the San Jose Sharks, because I think you want them to be better. And I think that you want them to improve, and having a guy like Blackwood backstopping that, I think is a solid move. Because I think the worst thing they could do is, have just like a ridiculous tandem for all of what's going on right now. I think Blackwood gives them a chance to win games. And I know that like people are gonna be like, oh, but the draft. And I understand that. And I still think that the Sharks are going to have a pretty decent draft pick. I don't know if, I don't think this is the worst team in hockey this year. I think they're a little bit better than that, but I still think this is a team drafting in the top 10. And then with those lottery odds, anything can happen. I'm not saying that, they're going to win the lottery or anything, but it could happen. Right. So I don't know, man, like it's hard, but then at the same time, you look at a team like, like they said that Colorado is sniffing around Mackenzie Blackwood. And if they throw you a truckload for him, like, how do you say no to that? Because eventually you've already got what you think is the guy waiting in the wings.
Yep.
It's a tough situation for the Sharks to be in. Like, because I think at the same time, it's like, you don't want this to be like another complete disaster season like last year. They can't do another year like last year. Like, you can finish low in the standings, but like, I think you want to see more stuff like this where they're fighting for points and they're getting points. And I think if you go back to just like getting embarrassed nonstop because you don't have goaltending again, like not that I think that Askarov would come up and get completely destroyed, but I think that Blackwood's in a nice spot to be, I think look at the league's going to tandems, and I think Askarov Blackwood would be a really nice tandem going forward.
Yeah, I would think so. And Vanacek's played fairly well. I mean, I'm wondering when his injury occurred in this game.
I think it's when Thrun ran him over.
Yeah, so we'll see. Oh, jeez.
Because what else could it have been? Like, I didn't see anything else that remotely looked concerning other than Henry Thrun running him over.
That, or I was thinking maybe he got overstretched on the Pugliarvi goal, but nonetheless, oh jeez, um, nonetheless, we go to the shootout. I have some questions.
Mhm.
So the guy who got you 2 goals that got you the game tied,
Mhm.
and for you know, I mean, why wasn't he out there for the shootout?
Because the shootout's dumb and no one cares.
Alrighty. Well, Pittsburgh did, and they won it in the 3-2 fashion. But you go Granlund, Celebrini, Will Smith, Eklund, and then Wenberg.
Yeah, and like honestly, the only guy that I have an issue with, because I knew like the one I saw Will Smith, I'm like, oh god, if he doesn't score, the Will Smith in the shootout discourse will continue. But I like the move. Like, I like the move that Will Smith made. But like at the same time, and Wenberg has been like he was hot a while ago. So I can kind of see going to him, but I agree. Like I think at that point, like why is Tyler Toffoli not your fourth shooter? And I don't know Tyler Toffoli's fourth shootout history numbers. I'd have to go look it up. I don't know if he's
right.
maybe he's dog shit in the shootout. I don't know. But at a glance, you would think that would be the guy you would go to fourth, right? Like I like the fact that they're getting Celebrini out there. I like the fact that they're getting Smith out there because I think
Right.
that you want to give those guys opportunities, like these opportunities to kind of get comfortable with their game. So I don't hate it, right? I know some
Right.
people are going to have an issue with uh
No, totally.
sorry, I'm just laughing at the chat.
All right. What are you looking at?
It just because like like I'm last saying because it's the shootout and no one cares, and then Tiger's like Ian Reid, who cares about winning? That's exactly what I'm saying. Who cares? It's just a shootout. I don't know. Shootouts are dumb. I hate the shootout.
Oh boy. And Bozosaurus saying, "Remember last season when Hoffman would be in the shootout?" Yeah.
Hoffman used to be like a really good goal scorer, though. He's just
Yeah.
washed now, unfortunately.
Yeah, no, looking at it. Tiger saying, I thought Fabian Zetterlund was really mediocre. He lacks consistency.
I think Zetterlund's again. I think it's like when the points stop coming, it's not good. I think my concern with the Sharks is that they're too reliant on the Lund line when nothing else is working. And I look at and again, like the results kind of speak for themselves. The Lund line has been probably the best line for the Sharks. I just get worried going forward that that the Sharks will be a team that, is like they become a one-line team, like when they start to turn things around. The Lund line's probably not together when they turn this thing around because I don't know if Granlund's still here, but like, you know what I mean? Like, you don't want to become a team. Like, remember when like I'll use Edmonton as an example. You don't want to be like a team where it's like, oh, nothing's working. Put Draisaitl and Crosby back together, or Crosby, McDavid. Nothing's working. Got to put that back together and have like just three lines that can't do shit. I worry about the Sharks getting too reliant on the Lund line and at the expense of like everything else. So I think that there's really good players there, right? And I think that you want to be able to break that up and not like just be like, oh well, because right now like they're putting Gaudreau with Celebrini and Smith because I guess they think that they won't be good enough defensively with Toffoli, I guess is my guess. I don't know. But you know what I mean? Like I just worry that they're going to be too reliant on that and then at the expense of everything else.
More coming in from the chat. Thank you, chat, for keep bringing it. Vincent Alvarado, should we be concerned Celebrini can't get on this? I'm guessing it's score sheet, but the status sheet?
Yeah, no, not at all. I look at Celebrini. Again, I think that it's important what like it's hockey and points are important. Scoring goals is important. Like scoring goals is how you win games. This just in. But at the same time, like for a guy like Macklin Celebrini, for a guy like Will Smith, I think it's what they do when they're not scoring that's also important. Now, I think Celebrini's game is so mature for an 18-year-old. I think the things that he does without the puck, I think the things that he does with the puck in his own zone, like that's what I watch. Goals are nice, don't get me wrong, and goals are important. And eventually the team is going to rely on him for providing offense. But I think at this point in their career, it's a very very young career. He's only played a handful of games, and I think that like the way that he plays, like he's earning his ice time 100%. And Will Smith's, I think he continues to get better. There's more holes in Will Smith's game than Macklin Celebrini's game right now, but I think as long as Celebrini's doing all the other things that are important, well, which he has been so far,
Right.
I don't think that there's any concern there.
All right. Good to know. Good to know. Uh, let's see here. Costin only played 30 seconds. I barely saw him. Yeah, he only played about 8 minutes tonight. Same with Grunstrom here.
See, I want to go back to Vincent too. He just said from the lens of the Calder doesn't matter really, which is true. Michkov is blowing out of the water. I think again, I think that's it's easy. Like I think it's as humans, like we're always looking to compare things, and I would caution against that because I think like Macklin Celebrini is his game is more complete. Michkov is really good at scoring goals. He cannot play defense. Where Celebrini, on the other hand, I think is really good in all ends, like all areas of the ice. Macklin Celebrini is really good. So I know it's human nature, but I think that sometimes like we get too focused on numbers.
Yeah,
Rather than the play.
My concern is that you're going to get all these comparisons, and you're definitely seeing with Will Smith. But the more that Michkov loads up, is that there's going to be, oh, look at what they're supposed to be. I mean, Zolbring is supposed to be here to score. Well, yes, but like you said, it is a complete game.
But he has a complete, like, I don't think people realize how good Celebrini's 200-foot game is and how hard it is to find that in a player of his age.
Yeah. Let's see. Where was it? Ricky, they did not. He basically had the second assist, but he's still generating if he didn't show up in the score sheet. Yeah. For full disclosure, he wasn't credited with one. Smith was the only one that got an assist on that Toffoli goal to make it 3-1. Yeah. Did we get? No.
No.
You got me excited
Sorry.
at the Kuhre we're doing. So that kind of closes it out on here. The Sharks finish 1-1-2 on the road trip. They get 4 out of a possible 8 points.
Which is good.
And for the most part, in every game.
Yeah. No, and I think that like that's the thing, right? Like I would rather watch this year's team. Like I've enjoyed watching this year's team, especially more of late. I mean, the start of the season, obviously there was some stinkers there, but as the season's progressed, I've really enjoyed watching this team a lot more than I enjoyed watching last year's team through large stretches of last year. Now, who knows? Maybe they'll turn into a pumpkin and I'll eat my words come February. But so far, I mean, like it's been, I think this team's been better. I think this team's been more enjoyable to watch. I think this team has started to play way better. I think that they're playing within their means. Like I don't think they're lighting the world on fire, obviously, but there's progression, right?
Right. I mean, that's the biggest thing. I think being competitive, staying in games, you're not getting blown out. And when you were getting blown out, you made an effort to get back into it. You shut out the Devils 1-0.
Mhm.
You were getting. I mean, I hate to say it, they didn't look great against the Flyers. Came back to tie that one,
Yep.
and then losing the shootout. Hung in there against the Rangers. Lost it. Lost it despite having a 1-0 lead. And then tonight, again, another 3-0 deficit that you erase and pick up a point where probably shouldn't have.
Yep.
So good on that. It's not good.
Ooh, Barracuda.
Nearing the end of the second period of the Hockey is for Everyone game in Texie Arena, the Calgary Wranglers, formerly known as the Stockton Heat, are leading the Barracuda 4-1 in this one. Ian, are you okay?
I'm fine. We talked about this game on previous shows. I said we were going to learn a lot about the Barracuda this weekend, and I don't know. I feel like so far they're kind of who I thought they were. If I'm not gonna I don't know. Like, I think this is a good team, right? And it's hard because, like, you want to talk about this team, and I don't want, like, I really think that if you want to watch some good hockey, like, this is a team to support. I think they're a really good team. I just don't think they're a great team. Like, I think this team should absolutely be a playoff team. Ignoring the fact that 7 teams make the, like, I think this should be a comfortable playoff team in the Pacific, not just getting there because, you finished 7th and now you're in. Like, there's a lot to like on this Barracuda team. I just don't think that they're a huge Calder Cup threat, though, right? Like, I think they're a playoff team. I think they're better than last year.
They better be a playoff team.
Well, I mean, at some point they have to be, right?
Right.
But, I think this Calgary team is really good. They were really good last year. And, right now it's 4-1 Calgary. Askarov did start for the Barracuda. He is currently being outdueled by Devin Cooley. More on that tomorrow. Just fucking shoot me in the face. But here's the problem, right? But here is the problem with the Barracuda. This is a team that still has a lot of the same problems as last year. They just have better players this year. That's the only difference. Like, this is a team that has, through 2 periods, has gone to the penalty box 3 times, right? And they continue. And, like, a lot of the problems from last year are still there. The problem is, or not the problem, the benefit is they have a player like Askarov, which has kept them in games that some games they didn't deserve to be in. Some games they did. I don't want to say that, without Askarov, this team is going to be completely ass, because that's something that could happen that could happen as soon as tomorrow. If Vanecek's going to be out for any period of time, you have to imagine Askarov is going to have the call up for Monday's game. So it'll be interesting to see, how they do without him. I would imagine that Arundel will come up and it'll be him and Romanov if Vanecek's out for any period of time. And I still think that the Barracuda will be fine. I don't think that they're a juggernaut. And I still think that this team, I think that the Sharks should have taken a longer look at John McCarthy in the offseason. I haven't seen anything to kind of change my mind on that, right?
Sure.
Like, so I just, and again, like, I think, but there's a lot, like, I don't want to, like, make this sound like the Barracuda are just like this, this glass cannon with Askarov and net. Cause I think that there's still, like, a lot of really cool things to watch on this team. Like, Luca Cagnoni's come in and has been amazing, way better than I thought he would starting out his pro career. And I like Luca Cagnoni. Like, I've always liked Luca Cagnoni. It's just, but going from playing defenseman in junior to the pro game, like, that's a jump. And sometimes there's more of an adjustment there for Luca Cagnoni. No adjustment at all. He's just been great.
Yep.
Right. I think Philip Beasted's back tonight. I really liked his game. Obviously, like Podorowski, a guy they brought in to be, kind of that really good veteran presence, has done exactly that. He has scored a ton of goals for this team. Like there's a lot to like about this Barracuda team, but I think that but you still want to have like expectations. Like, and I think a lot of people, they go from 0 to 100, right? It's like, oh no, now we're Calder Cup contenders. And I don't think we're Calder Cup contenders. I think that they're a playoff team and I think they could have a decent run. But I think that when you look at some of the other teams in the AHL, like there's better teams than the Barracuda in the AHL, but a lot of good things.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I still think, like, if you ask me right now, and because I feel like I don't want to, like, I feel like I'm underselling how good this team is. I think they're good. I just don't think they're great. Right. And I think if you want to watch decent hockey, you could do a lot worse than a trip to Tech CU.
Oh gosh, no. Yeah, I mean, hopefully you're that's the truth. Hopefully you're watching this at Tech CU Arena because you're in the second intermission. They're throwing t-shirts into the stands. I mean, come on now. It'll be fun. And the Kuhre play at 3 tomorrow if you want to get out there. So get on out.
Yeah, like I think, like, again, I trying not to, like, I always get worried because I don't want people to be like, oh, Ian just like makes it sound like the Barracuda are dog shit, and they're not. They're good. I don't know, but I don't know if they're great.
And Vincent saying, the Barracuda are where they are in spite of John McCarthy. Tiger, Ian Reid, Devin Cooley exists. We all die.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, let's not get overreactive at all there. But yeah, Aaron Dell, call up. Yes. Nando in the chat. I feel that they keep Mack and Smith with Goodrow not because of what it brings defensively, but how he plays the game. It's a good role model for them to learn from.
Barclay Goodrow works his ass off. I will give you that.
Mm-hmm.
But I just feel like if you want to win hockey games, you have to score goals, and Barclay Goodrow doesn't do that enough to be paired with your two hot, like your biggest prospects as far as the rebuild goes. Like that, they're kind of 1 and 2 there, aren't they? Like they at this point 1 and 2.
I would think so.
Celebrini, Will Smith.
Yeah.
Like I you know who else they could learn from? Tyler Toffoli. He scores goals in the NHL. A lot of them.
Yeah. No, that was a running chat in the Discord tonight when we were watching the game. So we'll be on the lookout for that. So I think that kind of does it for us. The Sharks lose 4-3 in the shootout. Kuhre are losing 4-1 after 2 periods of play. So in case you missed anything or you want to watch this again, and we appreciate it if you do, check us out on tealtownusa.com or your favorite podcatcher. Of course, you can always get us on YouTube. Make sure you hit that like, subscribe button, hit that notification bell. That'll let you know when we go on the air. And of course, we will always remind you about hitting us up on the socials, including Blue Sky. That is an option for you all now. So appreciate that for you. Ian, you have Technologists tomorrow night.
I do.
Sunday night at 7 p.m. I'm hoping AJ's making it. I know he's battling an illness right now. So hopefully he'll make it through. But day to day,
game time decision.
Yep. So we'll see how that goes. And then we're into Jumbo Week, which will be fun and exciting. I'm sure you guys will be talking about Joe Thornton on the program tomorrow, so I'll let you save that. But your final thoughts on this evening?
When the Sharks do okay, it's okay, I guess. Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah, when the Sharks do okay, it's okay. No, look at, I think it was a fun game. Like the start was bad, but I thought as the game progressed, it was good. And I enjoyed myself. Again, shootouts, whatever. Shootouts are dumb. I don't care.
Would you? I think I've asked you this already.
Mm-hmm.
you rather go extend overtime or just end in a tie after 5 minutes of 3-on-3?
Oh no! I look at the you can't put the toothpaste back in the tube. Like you have to have winners now. That's how this works. I don't think you could go back to just ties. I don't think. I really I don't think fans would like that. I think they think they would just because like, oh, we get rid of the shootout or whatever. But I really don't think like. I think it would lose its luster like 2 weeks into the season. Was like, oh, we didn't lose. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I just think the toothpaste out of the tube, you're never going back. I don't. Again, like it's regular season games. As long as we're not settling playoff games in a shootout, I don't care.
Oh God, no.
Right? Like as long as we're not like as long as the games that matter aren't decided in a shootout, I don't give a shit, man. Whatever.
Give me a 5 overtime Stanley Cup playoff game,
100%.
please. Dear Lord, what was it? The first night of the bubble? What was it? Was it Columbus and Tampa went into like quintuple overtime, or they had to postpone
Dallas.
a game?
But maybe, yeah, I don't remember.
Yes,
I have blocked out those years.
Oh, those. I mean, granted, the circumstances were fun, but my gosh, watching.
Yeah, no, the bubble was great. Like, don't get me wrong. Like the bubble was just such a fun thing because like there was just hockey from like the time you woke up to the time you went to bed, and how could you argue with that? But the rest of everything else fucking sucked.
Oh yes, but watching hockey from 8:30 a.m. till 10:30 at night. Oh, Lordy, that was fun.
Yeah,
and so were those after darks. So, all right, that's.
Yeah, the only shitty thing was the Sharks weren't playing.
Yeah, exactly. If they had only won 2 more games, they would have qualified. Anyway, okay. Anyways, we will be back with you on Sunday night, Pucknologists at 7 p.m. to recap the week that was in Sharks hockey. And then you have Detroit on Monday. You have St. Louis on... Or wait, no, I take it back. You have Detroit on Monday, Dallas on Wednesday, St. Louis Thursday, Legends game. We will be, I believe we are going to be live from Tech C Arena, and we'll be live at the Tank for a post game for Jumbo's retirement ceremony. So that'll be fun. We'll see what else we can bring you in the meantime. Come on, Sharks, help us out. Yeah. Oh, come on, man. Come on. Until then, thanks for watching. Keep it real. Keep it teal. Keep it real, teal. Have a great night, everyone. Kuhre, make a comeback right now. Let's go. Let's go right now, please. Thanks for watching. Have a good night.